What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Season Gaming Bitcast, episode 354. It is another fine Sunday with a lot of games to talk about today. I am your host, Ainsley Bowden, joined by the usual crew, and a friend is here with us today who has been on the show before, Season Gaming contributor, Mr. Alejandro Segovia. How we doing, my man?
Good morning, everyone, and good evening to everyone that's looking from the other side of the pond. Glad to be back here. Third time this year.
Yeah, wow, man. Becoming a regular. Yeah,
you're putting up with us a lot.
Oh, yes.
We're putting up with him.
Oh, yeah.
I knew that was coming. As soon as Hogue said it, I'm like, Travis is coming back right now. The tie guy is here in his tie. Good morning,
That's
man.
Right.
How we doing?
Good morn.
He's too good for the
Hogue, how are you?
I am also well. I'm excited about talking games and entertainment and nothing more serious.
Yes,
we have a deal, gentlemen.
Yes, agreed. We got into
an
existential discussion prior to going live here, so apologies to our live audience. We're a little late. We also we're talking with Hogue about the various embargoes that happen within the gaming community and how disjointed they are from one release to the next. So we actually plan to mention a couple things we cannot mention today. So I had to make sure we had all those ducks in a row. But we're here. We've got
the corporate lawyer in the room cannot believe how random the delivery of important information is in these PR embargo letters.
Yeah, we were explaining that it's the Wild West out there. Literally. I mean, every email you get about a game is formatted differently with different information and different requirements. And it's like a constant state of, are we, especially for a smaller site that has a lot at risk because we don't get privy to everything. It's just like we have to make sure we're following everything to the letter. So
do you want to know what the opposite of that is, which is IGN's relationship with embargoes, which is they will send us the embargo, and oftentimes my editor will email them back and be like, no, I think we should do this for the embargo instead. And a lot of the time they'll be like, that's a good point. All right, we'll do that. And they'll just change it like on a whim. We emailed them. They'll be like, all right, that's a good point.
Yeah,
we'll
I mean,
on the next virtual legality, let's talk about leverage.
I was just going to say, IGN has that leverage. Yeah, I mean.
No, it's actually because our editors are really good at making points. Like they'll be like, hey, the day before our embargo lifts, you guys are letting all the streamers stream 10 hours of gameplay. The game is 8 hours long. Therefore, everybody is going to see the game before it comes out. So we should be able to talk about it a day early. And they're like, oh, yeah, we didn't realize that. Or they will say, oh, we didn't know the game was only 8 hours long or something like that.
Sure.
And they'll just change it like on a whim. But
Travis, I have no doubt that your editors are making good logical points. But we cannot undersell the difference in leverage between seasoned gaming and an IGN.
An IGN. A little bit.
No, don't get me wrong. Like we have that too. And sometimes they'll literally just say, hey, I know everybody else has to follow this embargo. Could we not? And just post it a day early. And they'll be like, yeah, go ahead. So there's that part too. But
yeah, we tried that, and no, I'm kidding.
You did try, yeah, right. You did not try that,
and we never got a code.
That would be bold if you tried it. I'm just saying, most of the times I've seen the embargo change, it's because like somebody has just like read the embargo and been like, I don't like this. Let me try to convince them that it's like not a good embargo, and then like most of the times I've seen embargo change, it's been because of that. Just like somebody making a good point.
Yeah. Well, despite that, we still have a lot to talk about today. Travis had been reviewing Dying Light the Beast. Speaking of embargo,
yeah,
we talked about that previously.
That's
so
right.
We get to do today. We had Alex reviewing Towa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree, which I have said and typed so many times this week. I'm really tired of the length of that title.
Same.
It's not a real game.
We have Skate. The Return of Skate is in early access. I put a little bit of time in that to be able to speak to it. We had early access for Jump Space, Trails in the Sky First Chapter released, the remake, which very highly regarded. And Xbox said, hell with it. We're going to raise prices again. So we've got a few things to talk about today, and we will get to all of those things. As always, want to shout out Vintage Willow here for gifting 5 season gaming memberships to kick us off at the start of the show. Willow, thank you as always. A legend over here on the SG side of the house. So thank you. Appreciate that. Some regulars getting memberships this morning. Hogue, I forgot to mention before the show because we were talking about other topics. Again, Tide, I'm going to have to ask Tide on the air here to start sending me these pics on Discord or something, because I can literally not search and find Tide on Twitter. So if the Tide pics are up, not only do I not have a notification, I can't even find her on Twitter anymore. That's how screwed up that search is. So it's becoming hard for me.
I don't see anything in my mentions.
That's what she said.
Okay. So Tide, if we missed them, let me know, and I'll pull them up here during the episode. I did want to mention too, we've talked about YouTube views the past couple weeks, and we had some people reach out. I think I mentioned this briefly last week, but we had a few more people reach out and share some details. And apparently some of the more technical channels who dive into this stuff, in a much more detailed perspective than we do, or way than we do, have kind of figured out, they believe, that it's really anyone watching YouTube who's not a premium member, who doesn't pay Google their monthly fee, who uses ad blockers. And basically the algorithm is basically removing those views from the count now. So, if you're one of those people who watches Bitcast, keep doing what you're doing. Fight the good fight. We're not worried.
You don't want to turn your ad blockers off?
No. Keep those ads away from you and enjoy the show. I mean, it's kind of annoying anyway that I get comments from people that they get ads on SG videos anyway, and we don't monetize. So what I mean? They still get ads even though we're not monetized at all, which is kind of frustrating. It wasn't always that way. So, all right. Anyway,
I can't speak for Tide, Ains, but I went back through a couple of weeks. I don't think there were photos this week.
Okay. All right. No worries at all. All right. Well, with all that said, let's get into it. So, Travis, I'm going to start with you because you had been playing Dying Light the Beast for a little while now, right? A couple weeks.
Yeah.
Came out this week. Alex and I actually checked it out. Alex played it at Summer Game Fest as well, and it seemed to be quite good from the short period we play. It played well, looked good. I'm seeing it's at 82 on OpenCritic, sitting around an 8. You were a little lower at a 7. Talk to us a little bit about it.
Yeah, Dying Light the Beast is more Dying Light. That is a good thing, generally speaking. It's not super ambitious. Basically, it takes the idea of Dying Light and it adds one twist to it, which the twist is, what if you had beast powers and you went around hunting souped up zombies and stole their abilities like Kirby? And that changes the game a little bit because 80% of the time you're still running around fighting people with a pipe and all that, but every once in a while you fill up your beast meter and then you go beast mode for like 30 seconds and you like rip off zombie heads with your bare hands.
That's how I live my life, actually.
Yeah, exactly. You can jump 50 feet in the air. You can Hulk smash. You can scream so loud that you cause everybody to fall down. They start unlocking like more beast powers. But beyond that, it is straight up just another Dying Light. It's just more Dying Light. It was originally developed as an expansion to Dying Light 2 Stay Human, which it later just sort of broke off into its own thing, which is also apparent like how that happened if you play the game, because you play a different character and all that. So it doesn't really feel like part of Dying Light 2, but it does feel like an expansion because it keeps all of the same mechanics. It's very much a continuation of that game. And it kind of is reminiscent to me of The Following, if anybody played that add-on to the first Dying Light. You spend most of your time like in a car driving through like wider open areas, which is more of The Following type environment. But yeah, it's good. I've always been a little bit lower on the Dying Light series aside from the first one, because I do think the second one was more ambitious and had more advancements, but it was very buggy. This one is less buggy, but it's also a lot less ambitious. It also has one of the most like gobsmackingly stupid stories I've ever seen. It's just so dumb. Literally, you play a character. If you guys played Dying Light 1, spoilers for Dying Light 1, a game that's over a decade old, but like if you play that game, that game ends with one of two things happening. Either a nuclear bomb goes off and kills you, the main character, so that's kind of a non-starter for a sequel, or you get infected with the zombie virus and you turn into a zombie at the end. And so you're like, all right, how are they going to make a sequel with that protagonist? And they barely explain it. They basically just go, all right, 13 years later, you've been tortured by a Bond villain scientist named the Baron, and then you escape, and now you have to get revenge on the Baron. And so it's literally just like run around, kill zombies, power yourself up, go to a giant castle, and kill the bad guy at the end of the game. And that's pretty much it, right? They're not really swinging for the fences here. Classic stuff. But the characters are good, the dialogue's good, the game is still super fun, parkouring across rooftops and slicing zombies' heads off with a hockey stick and all that stuff. It's just cool. It's just good. It's good fun. But yeah, I gave it a 7 just because it doesn't try a whole lot new, and still got a little bit of bugs, a little bit of wonkiness here and there. It's definitely their least buggy though. If you played Dying Light 2, it's nowhere near as buggy as
Dying Light
game.
2 was a mess at launch.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Like in comparison to launch era, but the Dying Light 2, which was
no, it's not that. Like the stuff I ran into was like, you're crawling through a vent, and like there's a small raise in the vent, and because of that, your character just gets like stuck at the vent for like 3 minutes, and you're trying to squeeze through, and you're just like, God damn this geometry.
I do hate how that feels.
Things like that. Yeah, it sucks. That happened to me like 3 or 4 times, including one time where I was about to get into a room that had a bunch of loot that I could see, and I just couldn't get through it. Like no matter how long I stood there and pushed the stick forward, my guy wouldn't get through. So I just had to give it up and be like, guess I'm not going to get that loot. Guess this vent is just shaped weird and I can't get through it. So when stuff like that happens, it's a bummer.
Yeah. And also the big thing of the beast is that you can have more firearms, like compared to like Dying Light 2 that you couldn't at the beginning until they patched that, right? So
yeah, you can have guns. I don't know. I rarely use guns in these games just because they sort of give yourself away, and I never really. I guess there's moments where you fight like armed men with guns, and then they sort of like hand your character a gun and go, you should probably use a gun for this one. And I always took their advice when they did that. But when I'm out fighting zombies, I rarely did it. I'm more of a crossbow girly, gotta use those silent weapons. But yeah, it's a good game. Like, don't get me wrong. I know I'm highlighting a lot of its shortcomings, but if you've ever played a Dying Light game, they're awesome. And this is just like more of that, which is cool. So 7 out of 10. You should play it if you like Dying Light.
How long was it? Did you mention, or did I miss it?
Yeah, it's like I beat it in like 40 hours, but I did every side quest, so you could probably beat it in 20 or 15 probably. It's not like terribly long. Like the quest literally is like run around and find all of the powerful zombies and kill them, and then once you're fully powered, they're like, all right, go kill the Baron.
I think that's the length of the original, like 2040 too. So
yeah, if you play them all. All the stuff. It's good. The map is a little smaller. I don't think it's that big of a problem because they use the space well, but yeah, it's basically a circle. So
okay, cool. I think it looks like one of those games that's just fun, just to goof around in. I think the problem I have, like many others right now, as we talk about every week, there's just so many good games out right now. It's like, where do you even find the time? So
agreed.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. That's Dying Light. Alex, I'm going to jump over to you now because you reviewed Towa. I'm going to say it again. Towa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree, which is a Bandai Namco developed and published kind of ARPG roguelite combo.
Sorry,
if you will.
Hades-like.
Sorry, what
Hades-like.
What game were we talking about? I didn't hear it.
Towa.
Title.
Towa and the Prayer Children. Back off, Travis.
What was it? Ains, could you just remind me? I just missed it. My internet cut out at the wrong time.
Towa and the Fishman.
Yeah. I'm gonna send you a link in the private chat.
Okay.
It's gonna be a picture, or it may be that sound effect you did before the show. Just go ahead, and click it, see what happens.
Nice.
I hate you. Alex, I forgot to pull out the fish hat for today, but yes, this is we did play this, Alex and I both, funny enough, with Dustin at LSM at Summer Game Fest. We were playing side by side, and it seemed to have some merit, if you will, at Summer Game Fest. So Alex dove in a couple weeks ago and has been checking this out. Alex, you gave it a mid 7, I believe, which is right in line with where it's reviewing. So talk to us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so like obviously this was announced. This was one of the quote unquote surprise announcements at Summer Game Fest. That then they were like, "Oh yeah, and you can play it now here at Playday." So we got to try it, and at first glance, you can describe it as a Hades light with a anime style, like folklore Japanese like aesthetic on top of it, and beyond that aesthetic, it could be like, oh, they're basically doing a Hades. And at first, it definitely felt like that, kind of like a lesser Hades with like more one note combat, maybe not as strong as not as strong writing, and a premise that is very by the numbers. If you've ever played like a JRPG, like heroes gather together to defy this god that's infecting the lands and things like that, and not and not that it's a bad premise, but it's not nothing you haven't seen before. But the deeper you kind of start getting into the game, what makes it more unique is the fact that the roguelike nature that makes this game unique compared to others is the fact that you have a big cast of characters that you can pick. It's 8 heroes, and you go with it, like you go to the levels with 2 of them. One is your main attacker, and then the other one is the support character. And once you complete the entire stage, like you reach the final boss, you have to sacrifice your support character to kind of like cleanse the area. And that character, which is someone that you can upgrade, you can develop like throughout the different runs, they're permanently gone. And that to me is like adds the idea of like, okay, everyone may have like a different way they're gonna approach this. Yes, at the end you're gonna face this god, but how you get there is like it's your choice. I try to mainline with like the big fish guy because I love how he looked, and
He's
I love
awesome.
like his I love his move set. He was like super strong and fast, but eventually I reached like a later area where his move sets were just not working. I needed to do something stronger, so I switched to another character and built him up like in different runs, and I put him as support, and then I had to kill the fish guy, and that hurts because you're like in between runs, you can have like the characters interact with each other. There's like a little world building. There's conversations that happen within them, and even in the town that kind of also evolves as you keep going back. That's kind of like the inspirations of Hades that I like. That is like, okay, every run doesn't feel like a complete waste of time because there's always advancement, because something happens at the town that comments on the journey that the guardians are kind of going through, and sometimes through those conversations you open a different system that can help you with like upgrades and things like that. uh, you can like get more just a little bit more lore, because everything feels so thin. At the very least, it adds a little bit more texture for why things are happening, makes you kind of like care for your character, so that by the time you have to make the choice of who you're sacrificing, it kind of stings, because it's like you're building them on your own investment. And I do like the idea that anyone can play this, and maybe they can play the entire game with the fish and they complete it. Maybe they're gonna like sacrifice everyone one at a time all the times. It's like I feel there's like fun conversations to be had how people go through this game because of the different permutations of how you can approach these levels and how you pair everyone. And I feel that's kind of like where they found their unique niche, even though everything else is pretty much been there, done that for like roguelikes. You know, it's like a top-down action that you beat a room, then you pick the different rooms you're gonna pick which room to go based on what they're teasing the upgrade's gonna be. And sometimes you're gonna have a run that's gonna give you nothing. It's gonna be bad. There's gonna be other runs that's gonna give you the right upgrade that finally is gonna make you finish that run. So it's always a luck of the draw when it comes to like roguelites. But it's kind of like how I said, is like I don't think it's a game that's gonna dethrone Hades, but I like the idea. I kind of like the core conceit of the idea, because I kind of start thinking about it more like, what if I played like maybe a JRPG that would feel like the consequence of you sacrificing a party, and in a genre that's all about like building a party. I think that's kind of cool. They found that in Towa, even though that's kind of like its only thing, and then everything else is just basically good, like nothing like super special. And the aesthetic itself can be cool, but also I feel it's let down by the tech. It's like shockingly ugly in spots, despite how pretty the art can be. Is like, because I was like, why is it so low res for this kind of game? It's like I enjoyed playing this more like on a smaller screen, because it's not like you don't see the pixelation. I'm like, the art is so cool. Why is it so ugly in like a big screen? It's like so there's like big weird stuff like that. And it does have a really good soundtrack from the composer from Final Fantasy 12 and Tactics. I feel that kind of like aids keeping the whimsical and serious that I feel like it's trademark for that for his kind of music. And overall, pretty good game, I would say. Just not quite great.
Yeah, I have been playing a little bit of this, and I think Alex covered all of the structural bases of how this game works. I have said on this show and in other shows that I really like what is one of the Japanese kind of trope stories, which is that a dark, toxic miasma has taken over the land and you have to go cleanse it and bring nature back and all this stuff. And like, that's what this game is. I also mentioned that I loved a game last year called Kunitsugami from Capcom, which featured the swordsman linked to the spiritual feminine that walks through slowly and has to cleanse the land in that way. And this is designed around that concept as well. But I don't like this game. I actually came to this realization. This is very rare for me. I was playing it and I was trying to enjoy it. And I sat back and I said, I am not having fun. Like the core fighting, the core thing that you're doing in the game is not as well designed. It doesn't feel as good as it should for what you're doing 90% of the time. I also recommended a game, I think last year. It might have been 2 years ago. I lose track of time now. Called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate, which is a Hades-like, which I really love. And one of the things they got right was how it feels to have Donatello hit his bow staff against the little robot mouse and that kind of thing. And I think this game really fails at that. I also really like what Alex had to say about graphics, which is to say there's all this cool art everywhere. And I was sitting back and looking at the screen and thinking, it's these weird blobs that I know that's Towa, and I know that those are her like sleeves touching the ground in a weird way, but it looks bizarre and it doesn't come across like it should. And so this is one of those where in the land of way too many games, I would recommend people pass on for right now. And I say that with no happiness. There's a lot of cool things here. There's some time travel stuff. It's a lot of Samurai Jack feel to what's happening here with the dark voice and saving the world and all this good stuff. But it's just not there, in my opinion. It's just not ready for prime time.
Yeah, and I would say to kind of like point of view, early on I also wasn't quite liking it too because I found it also too one note.
And I haven't gotten
Ains
and Travis will be the first to tell you, I haven't played it far enough to say the entire package is this way. This is just what I've interacted with so far, which is a few hours.
And it's pretty fair because I felt that way too, because I remember playing it the first day, I was like, on top of like the visual stuff and then feeling one note, I was like, man, I feel this should feel better than it does. And it's until you get further upgrades and start like mixing and matching more different combinations of the 8 different characters and seeing how the support for one can really aid on the other. That is when things started clicking a little bit more. Getting further upgrades, kind of like getting like a double or triple dash, getting more health, or like your DPS doesn't take forever sometimes in some enemies, and like your weapon durability doesn't like break often because this game constantly has you switching back and forth between 2 weapons because there's like a soft weapon durability. It's not like they fully break, but then weapons start doing half of the damage. You can upgrade that for later on, so that you're not constantly feeling like you're just making P damage to like just a normal rank and file. And combining it with further upgrades with like for the support characters because you can put different magic that they can use. So for AoE attacks, like buffs for shields and things like that. It takes a bit of investment to get there. So I wouldn't be surprised if people just play early on and it's like, this is way too simple. This is like too one note. And the premise, again, kind of like I said, is like, it's not that that new premise either. Like you've seen it all before. So it's like beyond its aesthetic, it's like, it takes a while for the conceit and you to start feeling the weight of the sacrifice, because when you start sacrificing and going further, I feel you start feeling a weight that's not there early on. So
I killed the cat man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. We seem to talk a lot about games. It's probably a bigger topic where the first few hours, for whatever reason, I know developers put a lot of focus on that, and yet it feels like we talk a lot about the first few hours not being engaging enough to really drive people to keep playing. I feel that's a very challenging thing in today's world, especially when there's so many options and so many games.
Well, the roguelike model kind of demands that, right? It's like you're not going to actually see what this all looks like when it's all layering on top of each other. What I rejected playing it as much as I did yesterday was, okay, even if this design winds up being good, even if all these graces, the things that you get to change the way you're playing, line up in a way that's interesting, and the sacrifices line up in a way that's interesting, I'm not enjoying the moment-to-moment of swing the sword at the bad guy. And there's very little reason to play a game where you are only swinging swords at bad guys if that moment doesn't feel good to me.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. Well, you can read Alex's review up on the site if you want to learn more about this one. I know it's not a full price game.
30.
30.
30. Okay. All right. Yep. There you go.
Which tough with Hades coming soon, which I think it's 20 or 25.
Hades is 30 and 50, depending on whether you buy it digital or physical.
Oh, okay. They're probably around the same price, but
yeah, no, they didn't love that Hades announcement. I can't imagine over at Bandai.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Because that's the easiest pass for Hades that I could ever possibly give. Just wait. It's another week.
Yep.
Unless you're on other consoles and you kind of want to scratch the itch. If you're on PlayStation or Xbox, because it's exclusive to PC and Switch.
Switch 2, for now.
I'm curious about the use of the phrase Hades-like, by the way.
Yeah,
versus
it's a Hades
just a
game.
roguelite.
Okay, so it's got the rooms, and then it's got the door choices. Then you die, and you go back, and you get narrative. I mean, like it's Hades.
Yeah,
and I think Hades. Sorry, I was going to say I think Hades was such a big, kind of release in the genre, in the industry, right? It's kind of like it's taken on that form where you're seeing a lot of Hades likes. We were just talking about one in our Discord yesterday, Sworn, I believe it's called.
It's on Game Pass coming soon, I think.
Yeah, which looks, it's a co-op roguelite, but it's very much pulling from Hades. You can just see it.
I mean, okay. I have qualms.
I know what you're saying. I think Hades is just so big and popular. It's kind of taken on.
I was going to say I do have qualms about this term, but also roguelike is based off of the game Rogue, which is a game that no one has played, and yet it gets to define the genre. Nobody has played that game, and it's very funny. Yeah. And then it even extended to roguelite rather than just being called a what was the first roguelike?
Light's the proper term for everything. Now, the reason they've kind of collapsed is because everybody has meta progression. Rogue did not.
And the Rogue did not. And in fact, the roguelikes, if you try to make a list of like your favorite 10 roguelikes, you will have a hard time finding 10 roguelikes. Most of them, like the vast majority are roguelite, like because the differentiation is that if they have any sort of meta progression, all of these games have meta progression. So like even Hades calls itself the godlike roguelike, which is a fantastic catchphrase, but they're not a roguelike. They never have been. They're not. They're the godlike roguelite, actually. But,
couple
Hyde's
comments
in the chat asking about the Turtles game. I'll get it, Ain, sorry. It is Splintered Fate. So like Splinter, the rat guy, and Fate. There's so many Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games that they all have random subtitles, but it's Splintered Fate.
Alex reviewed a fantastic one last year, didn't you?
Yeah, make sure you evade the arcade one. Evade that one like the plague.
Yeah. Say it again, Travis, sorry.
I said, did we just reduce Splinter to, quote, the rat guy?
He's the rat guy. Come on.
He's how you remember what it is.
He's a master of martial arts, bro. Why don't you lead with that?
He is not. He learned by watching a dude that he was in the room with. He wasn't taught
literally
martial arts.
Sensei. He's a
because he claimed it. Are we going to go through Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles lore right now?
Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Yeah. You just are not giving him the proper respect. That's all I'm saying. He's not the rat guy,
fun.
Bro.
All right. You know what? The self-taught karate master, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles leader, Splinter. But the only reason I mentioned it in that framework is because in the game, it has nothing to do with Splinter, the Rat Man. It's that the dimensions have splintered. But all of the names don't matter at all if you haven't already played them.
But that's a good one. Just don't play the arcade one. That came out.
Was it Mutant Mayhem?
Yeah, Mutant Mayhem.
Okay, don't play Splinter Fate. Yeah, and there's and obviously the what's the other one? The side scroller. You know, the
Shredder's Revenge.
Shredder's Revenge. That's a great one too. Yeah,
and we're getting.
No, but we've said too many names now. Just stick with Splinter Fate if you're looking for what I was talking about.
We also have a comment from Ethan Morgan to shout out real quick. Says Travis and Hogue, thanks for suggesting Monster Train 2. I'm enjoying the battle style and strategy. Haven't gotten too far, but liking it all the same. Nice. There you go.
It just gets better, man. Like
it does.
That game is like a 7, and then it becomes a 9 the longer you play it. You're like, God damn, this game's good.
It's good. I want to quickly mention Skate. EA skateboarding game. It's out in early access. This has been a long time in development. I saw it at Summer Game Fest. I didn't get to play it there. They just had kind of a setup for it. And so I was interested in this coming out because the concept behind this one is a little more open than, say, like the Tony Hawk model where you have closed arenas. You're trying to do like a high score run. This is more of a create your skater, go out into the world and just skate, basically. And you can do that with friends and in a big live world with other players. So I haven't played it too much. I want to very caution about that. I did create my skater. I did go through the tutorial and kind of just floated around a bit, checking things out. It's interesting. It definitely plays in the realm of really wanting you to use your thumbstick and learn all the details of each possible trick. It feels decent to play in terms of speed, and there's a lot of options and customization, at least for early access. I was playing on Series X. The one thing that I think is going to be interesting to see as this game develops is the activities besides just skating in the world and mastering these tricks, as you would in real life, of course. What kind of carrot on the stick they'll have in terms of progression and kind of getting people to really enjoy this long term, because I think mastering the stuff is its own reward for some people. But as we've seen, I think in other games, that can be a challenge to really keep people hooked if they're not going after something. So the other thing I think that's unique about this one is it's a unique art style. Obviously art style and kind of that direction is subjective, and some people will love it, some won't. I feel it's a little bit weird. It's trying to be like clean, and I think part of the reason they might have done it is, I'm guessing, I'm not a developer, but is to for optimization for like a big open world skate game. You don't have to have these like incredibly heavy detailed textures or other things, but it feels a little, I don't know, cartoony, maybe not the right word, but it just feels a little weird. I don't really know what else to say about it. It looks okay.
It's weird coming from the original skates that didn't look this cartoony. So it's kind of
they tried to be realistic in the original. So it feels like, it's a little abstract. I don't know the right word here, but it's different. And I think some people will like that, but some people may not. And so, like I created my skater and I tried to get really detailed, and there's some decent options for character creation, but it still came out looking like an animated cartoon character. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if this is really what, I don't know.
It's set up to be a free to play, right? I haven't played this.
It is. Yeah. So
what does the revenue support system look like right now?
Skins, I think, based on like,
I don't really know. They have like, deck skins and profile customization and stuff. But in early access right now, I've just goofing off with whatever they hand you. And I think Game Pass has some perks. They give you whatever.
And I think there's going to be like
Hope said that too. Like he was trying to figure out why the kids are skateboarding. He's like, what is the end game here? How are we getting funds out of this?
Look, I've already talked about the fact that I'm not a big fan of the Tony Hawk series. Like these arcade doing tricks and getting points and picking up videotapes doesn't do it for me. So you make that in an open world, I care about it even less. So I don't know what's going to attract people here, but I have to imagine they've got some kind of revenue plan.
Not a fan of Jet Set Radio?
Jet Set Radio was fine.
Oh, wow. Look at this guy.
I would say the thing that people
to the charms of the board.
Yeah. What people will be attracted for this game is the fact that you can make it basically Sonic the Hedgehog and just keep like rolling infinitely. That's actually faster than just skating for some reason here. It's like,
oh, really?
I saw the clip of that.
Yeah, you just have to hold the right trigger, and then as you're running, and it starts like rolling like constantly, like without stopping, and you can even have him jump. So it's like, okay, why is this faster than skating? So I don't know if that's a bug or intentional, but like some of the videos are amazing. You guys should go look it up.
I've been telling skateboarders that for years, that they're just slowing themselves down with the board as I roll past them.
Yeah.
But this. At one point in time, this did have a pretty big audience, so it's going to be interesting to see kind of what carries forward here in that vein, and if there's an audience for this.
If you guys have any like punk-leaning friends, they're very excited about this game. I've got like casual friends who are like, I don't know anything about games, but I know there's that skate game coming out. I'm ready to play that. So there's a lot of hopes and dreams hanging on this game.
I hope if you like this kind of thing that you love this. I'm unlikely to ever turn it on.
I think what's funny is Skate 3 is kind of like an example of a game that had like a very late resurgence because of the streaming era. Because obviously that game's like old from like 2010 or something, and then I think it was PewDiePie that started like streaming it in like 2016. That increased the demand again. That EA had to reprint the 360 version and make it like backwards compatible on Xbox One because it was that popular. So, fun fact there. Let's see if this one ever gets there.
Yeah. But it's out. You can download it. You can check it out. Create your skater. Go in the world. Play around. So, do that and see what you think. But it's out there. Hogue.
It doesn't have a ska soundtrack like Tony Hawk. How much ska am I going to have to listen to when I play?
I haven't played it enough.
What do you mean have to listen to?
I think everybody heard and understands exactly what I mean. Okay.
I want all my games to sound like Crazy Taxi.
Jesus Christ.
There you go. Just yelling, yeah. Remind me, I believe you were very excited for Trails in the Sky first chapter, or am I misremembering?
Oh my God. What a week.
Oh my God.
Go for it.
All right, so The Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky is one of the best, most complete, fully realized JRPG worlds ever. And it goes with the whole Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel, Trails Through Daybreak, Trails, preposition, random word. Naming trails. Conventions. Lots of trails. They're everywhere. They're in the sky. They're on the ground. They're all around us. They're in the room with you right now. The trails are here. But Trails in the Sky, the first game in the Legend of Heroes saga, has been trapped in an old-looking JRPG that was honestly old-looking when it came out. Like, it was a portable game. It looked old. It had some of the best writing, the best world building. It had a really cool little combat system, but it was very hard for people to kind of engage with. This game, Trails in the Sky, first chapter, is the remade version of that. And I was really curious as to how this would all work. I talked about playing the demo last week, which I really enjoyed. But this game is fantastic. This is one of the best games of the year, hands down. If you can even stand JRPGs, like if you don't just outright hate them, you can tolerate them and their anime antics. This is a must play for you in 2025. Fan-freaking-tastic.
Okay. Yeah, I saw it reviewed extremely highly. I think it's sitting like 91 on OpenCritic. I am not familiar. I know you've talked about Trails before. I believe, SG, we've even done reviews of one or two of them in the past. I'm not familiar with the franchise. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What if you enjoy JRPGs, and we've joked about our JRPG tropes, to your point, plenty of times on this show, but what separates this one? What makes it so good?
Okay, so The Legend of Heroes, the real selling point of this whole series of games is that unlike Final Fantasy, unlike Dragon Quest that rebuilds the world every single game, Dragon Quest a little less, though, than Final Fantasy, Legend of Heroes essentially has a number of different arcs that are in these different game series that each take place in a country that exists on a continent in a world that crosses over all of these games. So there's a dozen of them or so now. And Trails in the Sky starts, you're in the Liberal Kingdom, which is funny, but is true. And the Liberal Kingdom is where the Trails in the Sky entire set of games takes place. And then the Trails of Cold Steel takes place in the empire that borders the kingdom. And then there's a series that takes place in the city on the border between the two countries, actually three countries. And all of these different series all take place in simultaneity or consecutively across these wild world-changing events. So you get to dive deep into all these specifics of these various places. And when you're playing Trails in the Sky 1, you're getting a very in-depth look at this very small part of this very big world. And so that just feels good if you like setting, if you like storytelling like this. And while I can promise folks that Legend of Heroes gets big, Gods and Monsters type big, this is not that. This first game is essentially two kids figuring out what the world is like, journeying across pastoral countrysides, and figuring out what's going on. Yes, Alex.
I would say it's like a contrast of The Hobbit to The Lord of the Rings. Kind of like a smaller story, and then like the epic for later, right? You know?
And The Hobbit might even be bigger than Trails 1. But yes, at bare minimum, it's the Shire before you leave. So it's a really good, fun time. in depth and characterization and all the things that you don't often get when things are being sketched out more for you, and you don't even realize they're being sketched out if you've never played a Trails game before. But that's where the heart of this lives. And then it's got really cool battle systems on top of it. So it's a spatially based turn-based battle system, which means that you go in turns for the most part, but then you're picking out like, okay, if I can stand right here, then I can hit all 3 of these monsters, or if I get them lined up in this way, then my partner can hit them in that line. You're managing a bunch of different meters as you do in a JRPG. And then on top of all that, this remake introduces a concept that kind of comes from the Persona metaphor line of games, which allows you to fight monsters that are below or average to your level on the main world map kind of screen. So you've got what they call quick battle, and you can hit the attack button to actually swing your staff or your swords at these monsters and engage in a very light version of what is the full battle system, and then hit a button to go into the full battle system if you ever feel like you need to. So it's this great combination of both things. Very, very fulfilling to master all these systems at once and fight these bosses and do these things, all on top of being in a really well realized world with a fantastic kind of visual approach that isn't as realistic or as graphics heavy as something like the remake trilogy, Rebirth and Final Fantasy VII Remake, but is very pleasing to look at. The only kind of compunction I have at all for people, as you heard me say at the beginning of this, is it can get very anime. The voice acting in particular. Estelle is a great character. A lot of people that know Legend of Heroes love Estelle, but I was interested in what they were going to do with this voice acting because she is a crazy firecracker tomboy character, and you always wonder how that's going to come across in an anime dub.
Sure.
And her voice is great. I think her actress does a great job. There are scenes, though, where you say, oh, right, okay, God help me. And I don't blame anybody for getting there and saying, Rick, this is garbage. I understand people that react to those kinds of things that way. I promise you that all of this is worth it. It's great. And I'm so happy to hear that they announced that they're already working on Chapter 2, which used to be just called Second. I don't know what the remake will be called. Interestingly, I don't think the word remake appears in Trails in the Sky First Chapter. That's just the name of the new one.
Okay. All right. Maybe they've built that audience now and they're kind of reintroducing new people to it.
Yeah, no, this is the entry point. They are going to... So the strange thing about what they've done is like Trails of Cold Steel is their progression from that old kind of ugly JRPG format to a more modern format, but it happens kind of halfway through that series, and they didn't even bring the first couple over to the Switch environment. So one suspects that this is their Resident Evil project. This is their big old, all right, we've got this asset. We know these are good games, but we need to make them approachable for anybody that hasn't been playing games for as long as Hogue has.
Yeah.
Yes, Alex.
And
you don't have to raise your hand, by the way. You can just jump in.
I love that he is.
It's a live show, Alex. So you just jump in.
Yeah. It's like because up until like these remakes are out, it's not like the series was widely available either. Like it was all scattershot, kind of like Dragon Quest has been. That not everything's kind of like in one place. So.
Yeah, and this is a great starting point. The other question I get is, can I jump in right here? This is the start. This is the start of the modern Legend of Heroes saga. Jump in right now if you're at all interested in anything that I've said. You will be well rewarded. It is a slow burn RPG. It is a kind of slice of life to start out with. It only gets a little bit more intense from there in this particular game. But you'll love all these characters. You will feel like you went on a journey with them. And by the time the second chapter starts, you'll be fully up to speed. And you might even want to buy other Trails games in between now and then. I'm sure that Gung Ho and Falcom would love you to do so. But they have said that they're going to be remaking at least the Trails in the Sky next bit, I would imagine the entire series. And so I think they're probably going to bring everything over to Switch ultimately. That seems to be where their heart is on this. So we'll see. But this is fantastic. Absolute Game of the Year type material. If you like JRPGs at all, not to be missed.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I was having a laugh. Travis, you probably didn't see this, but on the fantasy game thing that we're doing, Eric pinged me because this released. It's a 91 on OpenCritic, and we had Trails game. I think we picked the wrong one. So
the one from March.
Yeah, we picked the one from March, which is like a 70 something on the scoring, and it's like, yeah, we really screwed ourselves on this one, didn't we?
No one knew how this would come together. This was a tough bet early in the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough this year in general. Like, a lot of the stuff we thought was coming out got delayed, and a lot of stuff we didn't think was coming out suddenly came out. Although we did have Hollow Knight Silksong on our list, and I remember when we picked that one. When we picked that one, people were like, "That game's not going to come out," and I was like, "Bro, it has come out this year."
Yeah. Another one we have sitting there, which I almost got rid of, is Skate Story, which from Devolver.
The bird?
And that. No, not the bird. Skate Story is it's very you'd have to look it up. I don't even know how to describe it. It looks very unique. But
there was once a game about a skating bird.
Yeah, Skatebird.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Skatebird. Yes. That's what it's called. Yeah.
It's in the title, really.
You were on it, Hogue. You had it. But
it's about a skating bird, and might I say, there's your title.
Skate Story was at the beginning of the year said to be coming this year, but we're sitting here mid-September, and then nothing's happening. Of course, this week they released a trailer with Switch saying it's coming in 2025. Still no release date, but supposedly still coming. So
they're working hard in the mines. Gotta let them work.
Devolver Digital's, I mean, they're a pretty reliable publisher.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know if anyone's played this. I just saw it released, and I don't know if anyone even has any interest in it. But that Lego Voyagers game came out, a little kind of co-op, fun Lego world type game, but not with like an IP license thing like Batman or Indiana Jones or anything. So,
the Lego IP costs them enough.
Yeah, that's true.
True.
Yeah, it's sitting about an 8 on OpenCritic, just below. So, I mean, it seems to be reviewing pretty well. I was checking out Game Informer's review of it, and they said, it's I guess Wes was playing it with his partner, and it just sounded fun, sit on the couch, co-op type thing, play together. So,
yeah, I had read it sounds great. I also read that it was short, and it's just money's at a premium for the number of games that are released right now. So, I'm sorry, Lego Voyagers. I'll keep you on the wish list.
And it's so wild that it's coming out so soon. After this, we get Lego Party. So it's like they literally dumped 2 Lego games in the same month.
Yeah, 9 days. Yep. What else you guys got? Any other game you want to mention?
I do.
Well, I'll let Hogue say first.
Sure. Well, so there was a game released a few years back that I really loved called Strange Horticulture, which was essentially about people coming to your weird greenhouse flower shop, having a strange thing that they needed help with, like, defeating a witch or dealing with their nightmares, and you reading through a book of flowers and figuring out which flower in your shop could actually help them with their problem. And this was a cool little puzzle game. You had an exploration element where you went and found new flowers and otherwise dealt with the problems of the town. And the sequel to this game, called Strange Antiquities, in which you are instead kind of a runner of a Needful Things kind of haunted, macabre memorabilia shop, came out this week. It has the same premise. You've got a book that details what an artifact does, and you have to figure out what artifact in your shop actually is that thing to give to the people that need the help. But it's wonderful. Really love it. Want to tell people about it because I love this game series. On top of that puzzle element, they tell really cool, dark little stories about their little strange world. And I think it's a wonderful kind of blend of narrative and puzzle elements. So I wanted to tell people about Strange Antiquities. Is out now. I've been enjoying it. Check it out. We can talk about our weird population of people that need all these artifacts to solve their problems together.
Yeah. Okay. What platform you playing it on? Switch?
Almost all the things I play now are on Switch. But yes, that's on Switch. So I wanted to call out Strange Antiquities. Well, the football takes away the TV. If you're going to watch football all day and you want to still play games all day, you got to figure out how to work that out.
There you go. Okay.
So that's what I do. So Strange Antiquities is the big one for me this week. But I also did want to call out a game that I haven't seen mentioned in a lot of places called Wander Stars. Wander Stars is a little turn-based RPG in which you are the main character of an 80s-looking anime and trying to find a star map across all these various different places. But the big trick of this particular game is, one, the aesthetics, because they just made it look entirely like 80s anime. And two, the battle system has you collecting words that then describe what attack you're going to do, like you're yelling it out in an anime. right? So you've got punch and jab and headbutt and kick, and then you can make it a super special punch or a wide fire kick, and it'll have these different effects on what you're fighting with. And it's a really cool little system.
This looks cool.
With a really cool little aesthetic. And I wanted to call it out because this is exactly the kind of stuff I like seeing out there in the world, and I haven't really seen anybody talk about it yet. Oh,
this guy's got cool Bara hair. Look at that. Some clear Yu Yu Hakusho inspiration going on.
It's got so much 80s anime. They even have like the little bits of film grain static stuff that they run over the
this is sick.
Overall picture. Really like it. Wander Stars. Check it out.
Okay. Yeah, someone said it's on their wish. Richard said it was on their wish list. So good to hear.
Yeah, I think it was 25.
Okay. Cool. Alex, you had one. Go.
Yeah. Buried in between all the million releases, the DLC for Assassin's Creed Shadows came out this week.
Yeah.
Claws of Anjari, I think, or Awari. I forget the last name there. So this was gonna be paid DLC that was in the season pass that they took out when they were like, oh yeah, we need to like get goodwill out of people. So this is gonna be like a free expansion for everyone whenever it comes out. And I got to try at least the first few hours of it. It is set immediately after you have to finish the main story for Shadows, and there's no way to access it early. It's kind of like just a direct continuation to that. And I would say it's more of Shadows, but more constrained and more kind of like more curated. I feel like I like the mission design of what I've seen more than what it is in like the more freeform style that is in the main game. Like it's a story more focused on Naue than it is Yasuke, because the story kind of leaves Naue's threats hanging by the end of Shadows compared to Yasuke, who has more of a complete story at the end of that game. And they kind of play around better with like the dynamic between both of them as you're doing the main missions, compared to how the other one kind of gave you the choice of, do you want to just keep playing as one or you want to play the other one? And my main complaint back when I reviewed it was that the game always felt like it was given the short shift to Yasuke in the design department, because it's so limited compared to like Naue, despite Naue being a more one-note, boring character in comparison to Yasuke, who was more dynamic. I feel like this DLC is like giving Naue more of a personality beyond the revenge tale from like the main story, and I feel it's setting up more like the Yasuke side of things feel more tailored to what he can do, which is more like destroy everything, combat and all that. They kind of limit how you play, and I'm like, yes, it's like play to the strengths of each character instead of like signposting the fact that one character just cannot do the entire suite of movement that you can get from like the other ones. And they do some cool stuff like in specific missions. It's like there's a mission that it's actually a side scroller that's actually really cool, kind of like reminds me of some of like those, like the Assassin's Creed Russia, India, but like in the modern aesthetic of Assassin's Creed, and kind of like telling like it was kind of setting up the story of what you're doing in this expansion. I was like, okay, at least there's some cool stuff here that at least so far feels even more memorable than like the main game that months after I've forgotten mostly about. I felt like Shadows didn't kind of ultimately leave an impression on me, and it's also huge. I felt like the island of Anwari, whatever that's called, feels like it's Tsushima. Is like when I saw the map, I was like, how do they keep making this giant play spaces? Like, come on, user, like just make everything a little smaller, please, because like they love they love giving a lot of game. But so far, like if you have finished Shadows, which obviously it's a RPG Assassin's Creed game, is super long. It's like you'll have 10 more hours according to like what they tell you they're giving you with this DLC into something that feels like they've taken some of the good feedback from Shadows and kind of built upon it. And this is also my first time trying some of the improvements they given to Shadows since then. Like they've been doing a lot of parkour improvements that were people asking them, hey, you used to do great parkour back in like Unity. You have not used that animation before. Like, can you kind of bring it back? And they've slowly kind of been doing like free patches to kind of fix that. And I feel like moving around us now, it feels even better than it did. And I already thought that she felt really good to move on that. And they also patched in a nightmare difficulty for stealth that makes it even harder. Like you can be seen like pretty much by everywhere, so you have to like be like very careful. So if you like the stealth of Shadows, it feels like it's been improved and stuff. And if you're still interested in playing that, despite the fact that Yote is coming soon, like in literally 10 or 12 days, is like there's more Shadows there, and it's free. So
Yote is imminent.
Yeah, it's
Okay. It's a Waji, by the way. A Waji.
Awaji. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw this release. I didn't know much about it. I sadly didn't put much time into Shadows. Bought it at launch, and I think I played like the prologue. It's just one of those years. It's crazy to think that that game released this year. It feels longer ago for some reason.
It's been a long year.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just yeah, it's interesting. All right. Tide did give us our picks. So I'm going to circle back to that, even though we usually do that at the top of the show. Tide, if you sent this to me about what these picks are, I missed it because I can't open Discord while live. Sometimes that screws with the camera and audio. So here we go. And I look angry, my friends.
Oh,
Travis looks.
we're monsters.
We're monsters.
Why are we monsters?
Because.
Well,
why
if
not?
you were listening, I just said she sent me why, but I don't know why because I can't go look at the DM right now.
What was the name of that game again?
What game?
The one with the Guardians, Towa?
No, I don't think that's this.
No, but what was the
clearly
name of it?
Ains' Skatebird.
Oh, I see.
Travis, stop it. Yeah, what?
Yeah, we're skatebirds. I get it.
We're skatebirds, but Travis, you're standing 2 feet on a 2-wheeled board. I don't know how you're balancing that, but I applaud your effort.
Well, your board is like the Flintstones car. I love it.
I also don't really understand why am I a goblin? Why am
That's something you got to ask yourself, man.
I mean, this just
Some
seems a
introspection
little targeted, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just have a very comfortable looking hoodie on. That's what I'm excited about.
You do. You're rocking my hoodie right now.
You're barely a monster.
I am a monster.
You know the AI struggles with making Hoga monster. It's like we can't do that to him, our beautiful boy.
Gotta just give him little horns and no other changes.
Yeah, other than that, still chisel his chin.
I'm sorry, Travis. Is your position that my jaw looks like that?
I mean, I'm just saying, Ainge is a full-on monster. He requires 3 skateboards to stand.
I have 3 legs. Why do I have 3 legs?
I'm the monster at the bottom of Gringotts Bank. I don't know, man. This is all feeling very horrifying. But I guess it's a horror, right? That's the goal.
That's what we're going for.
I just like your dead doll eyes, Travis.
Yeah, it's really creepy.
Yeah, those eyes are definitely creepy. Mine are normal, at least.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. It's just your normal face on a monster's body. It's very bizarre.
All right, Ty. Thank you for catching up with it. Sorry we were delayed on that one. Appreciate you. All right, where are we? There we go. All right, boys. We're gonna jump over because I wanted to briefly touch on this and kind of state of the industry conversation. So we get the news, Thursday, I think it is, that Xbox is raising prices again in the US, the second time this year. And obviously we have seen this, PlayStation raised a few things, Nintendo raised a few things. We have $50 amiibos that are getting ready to release at some point, which is bonkers to me. I don't know how that's even possible.
Not high
enough. But we now are looking at a situation, at least in the US, and some of these things are obviously regional, but that the Series X that I bought and many of us bought in 2020 for $500 will now be $650. No difference. The same model will be $650. So $150 more 5 years later, which in the console market is a little crazy. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of factors that come into these types of things, but it's between what's happening with the big 3, the publishers and everything we've seen, and then obviously just a bunch of factors, kind of socioeconomic factors globally, and some of the things happening in the PC gaming space or just hardware in general. It's a little, if you're on a budget or you're younger, it feels like we're going backwards with where gaming was going, which was more accessible, over the past however many years. But it's definitely a situation that is strange to see as someone who's gamed for a very long time now.
Yeah, I mean, I think as Microsoft has suggested throughout this generation, we're moving towards a world in which the consoles are the luxury good. And you might well be able to stream whatever from your TV or your phone or anything in between. But the people with the boxes are going to be the robber barons, and it's not going to be the entry point for more and more people. Or you're going to be investing in consoles like our parents invested in houses and hoping that they appreciate and collect your $150 from eBay. But no, this is not tenable for the long term. This is not a way to make an industry function for the mass market. But Microsoft said macroeconomic effects. We all know that that's tariffs and taxes and everything in between, and they're trying to navigate these things as well. I personally think the console platform holders have not borne enough of the pain themselves and are going to regret this into the midterm and future. But I'm not in charge of these things. It is clear that idiots are in charge of almost all of these companies at this point for understanding the games market and what people are actually dealing with. So that's how things stand today.
Your guys' parents owned homes? I'm sorry, I didn't know we were getting fancy here. I don't know this was a fancy 1%er.
They sure do.
Damn, dude, that's crazy. That's crazy,
reality.
you guys.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
to that.
I'll take the opposite view of Hogue. These consoles aren't expensive enough. They should be thousands of dollars, and we should thank them, frankly.
If you want to squeeze the life out of the market, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we know, right? We've talked for years now, obviously, around the Series X, Series S, Xbox's performance in the marketplace, on the console side, all these different factors, right, in the gaming industry. It's just wild to think, like, their sales of the series consoles was already seemingly declining, right, over the past couple of years. And now who is going to go out at the end of 2025 and pay $650 for a base Series X? Like, it just seems crazy to me.
The hierarchy of needs does not include video games. And
True.
Microsoft dealing with macroeconomic effects does not properly understand that everybody on Earth, and especially in America, is dealing with macroeconomic effects right now. And the first thing to get tossed off the boat of expenses that I have is the Series X, the Series S, the PlayStation, the Nintendo, whatever it might be. But good job on Microsoft and Sony making the Switch 2 look like a freaking bargain only a couple months after it released. So the winner, as appears to be the case in almost every instance that we talk about the video game market right now, is Nintendo. Not even because they're necessarily doing a great job, but because they're doing the least bad job. And
I would argue the Meta as well is benefiting from this tremendously. Meta Quest 3 is...
I thought you were just making a meta comment there yourself, Travis. I was like, no, there is no real meta for life.
There is
in the meta product.
Right. If you don't think there's a meta for life, you haven't been paying attention, Hogue. That's all I got to say.
Understood, Travis. Well,
you know I'll teach you how to do
You're beating me at life, buddy.
I'll teach you how to min-max.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we know that we're not far now from a new generation. Take down the walls of generations, but you know what I mean, right? The next whatever. We know PS6 is in development and long-term in development, as this is the next Xbox console. And it's, to me, it's just really interesting to see, like, if this continues, that picture for Travis, if this continues, right, if this continues to evolve in the state it's evolved in rapidly, if this continues to evolve over the next couple of years, when next Xbox, next PlayStation release, what the hell are we even looking at that point?
Oh yeah, fear those. They're setting up for 1,000 plus. Yeah.
But what I find interesting, because there's been a lot of leaks of the supposed plans for next gen, and we've gotten a lot of those for like the PS6. That apparently the one thing that Sony is actually really looking into is that they really want to like cut costs for like whatever they do for like the next machine. How they're like trying to make sure that it's not a massive console again like it was here, and they're trying to see how they can like make sure that the silicon is not that expensive to try to make up for all the costs of where tech is at. And obviously, like, we know that the Pro, they had said that was kind of like their test bed, because they're moving away from raw hardware into more like the AI machine learning with what they're doing with the PSSR and things like that, and how the improvements of things are gonna like be more on like on those AI driven algorithms instead of like just raw power. Maybe right now, because of where things are at, this is kind of giving them an idea of like, okay, if 750 is the highest high end we can go right now with where the Pro is. maybe like we're looking at 650 or 600 like at base for the next console. And we do know that, at least based on both PlayStation and Xbox, one is clearly doesn't care about hardware, the other one still does, and the other one still like has priced things up, but it's still funny, they're built beneath Xbox, like where they price things, because they're still in their interest to sell their hardware, because they're like a hardware company. Microsoft is a software company, so they don't care. They have everything. They're putting their games everywhere. They have their services, things like that. You kind of see it in their financials. What's the thing that they always keep highlighting? More MAUs than anything. So
yeah, no, but they're going to drive their console base completely out of business, which might be the intent. Like, one of the things that this says to me that we knew when they had the layoffs and everything else over the course of the past 6 months is that Microsoft internal has lost their will for gaming, right? They spent the money on Activision. They've been looking at what they're doing. They see AI as this halcyon dream of a future for their company, and that gaming is not the best place to put their dollars. And there is no doubt in my mind that some of these high-end conversations between various presidents of various things inside Microsoft is, what have you done for me lately? Why are we investing in this thing? Why are we not squeezing more money out of this console sales when our internal metrics say that there's this portion of an audience that will still buy an Xbox at a $650 price point? And at this point in time, whether or not the tariffs get upheld or overturned by the Supreme Court, whether or not they're actually impacting the cost of making this thing and bringing it into the United States, it's a very good excuse for every corporation in America. And so we should raise the price right now. We should sell the Xboxes to whoever wants it on this high end. We're going to be moving it through Game Pass on any other device anyway. It's not going to hurt us that badly. And why are you wasting our time with this meeting? We should be talking about AI in any event. That's what I see at Microsoft. I don't know what's going to happen, Alex, with Sony's next system. I think they are trying to set the stage for an even higher price, but they might decide to kind of cut bait on the high-end hardware and come into some middle-of-the-road machine learning AI thing. I don't know. I don't. I do think that they are likely to test the high-end again as to what they can actually sell at that level. So they might have multiple SKUs. They might have a plan to reduce if they can't sell as much as they want at $1,000 price point or whatever we're looking at. But I do know that there's a lot of economic strain across this country that I live in. I think across the world. I can't speak for the world, obviously. But games are not the first and highest need. So this is a very strained position to defend, in my opinion, for Microsoft or anybody else that's looking at these various things. On the other hand, I love my Switch too, and I'll keep playing it. So
I think what gets me to your guys' point, and I think we're mostly on the same page, is just that, especially even speaking with the people at Xbox who are involved in some of these decisions, right? And I have been fortunate to do that, but it doesn't make me understand any better. Launching a console, which we know this from just decades, right? Launching a console in the market space is an incredibly costly endeavor. You're talking hundreds of millions or even billions sometimes of dollars of investment, because it's years of development, it's agreements with your hardware manufacturers like AMD, it's global shipping and, globalization of where the market strategy is and everything that goes into that, right? It's years and years worth of work for a lot of people. And if Xbox is taking this route right now, and thinking about they are releasing another console, it is either coming end of next year. I think that's still too early for me personally. I think 2027. But regardless, right? What does that even look like, right? Because to your point, Hogue, it feels like all of the signaling or the decision making that's happening, at least from the outside looking in, is that you're deprioritizing the console, and yet you're gonna somehow come out 2 years from now and say, "Hey, we've got a new console, come buy it." And I just anecdotally feel like people are going to be like, why?
I expect them to put it like in the HoloLens kind of category. Like, we are making this thing, we're putting it out in the world. It's not really for you. It's not really for anybody. We haven't really thought about who it might be for, but here is this thing. That's what I expect from Microsoft, because I expect them to miss that badly in terms of evaluating the marketplace on these kinds of things. I don't know that for sure. But they seem to be going in a direction that says the only thing that could possibly make sense is some super high-end boutique Xbox that only Travis will buy.
Yes.
I'll buy it. I'm going to buy it too, but I think,
I'll do a payment plan for it.
Look, I imagine a world where game consoles are so exorbitantly expensive that only the chosen few are allowed to play them. And I think that's important because Hogue was saying, you know, video games are not a necessity. They're not the number one priority. And I disagree. I only want to play with gamers who are willing to forego meals and shelter so that they can play on Xbox. And if you're not willing to sacrifice everything to play on Xbox Live, you do not deserve to be in the same lobby as me. Go back to your Switch, you troglodyte, and go die in that
Switch
ditch.
Peasants.
That's what I have to say to you people. So if we could make it villains with an E, that's how I describe you. And if you can't keep up with me, just, you know, I hope these consoles are $5,000 a month. I want it to be a monthly service.
A month.
Yeah. I live in a place where a PS3 was $2,500 at launch, so I know that reality.
Good.
That's wild to think about.
You know, you shouldn't even be allowed. They just don't even ship them there. That's what I say. No, move. You want to play? Move somewhere where they get that right.
So
anyway,
I think
that's my stance.
Jokes aside, I think, you know, some of the conversation in our chat and other areas is around the industry and PC gaming and cloud and all this. I just want to be clear, like, we've talked about those things ad nauseum, right? Like, we've had a lot of conversations on those things. So that's not what I'm referring to. I'm not trying to say we don't know what Xbox is doing or we don't know where their focus is. That, I mean, you should know if you listen to us. That's a big core of what we've talked about. What I'm trying to understand is specifically for the console market, what this strategy is, because again, from this sitting in this chair, the strategy seems kind of bizarre. And to Hogue's point, you know, you say Hogue taking the brunt of these factors on the company, which is also kind of funny to me when we talk about things like Xbox or Microsoft, because we're talking about the richest company that's ever existed in the history of humanity. And it's just, it's wild to have these conversations about something in that vein at times.
Well, and internally they could probably show that they're taking on some of the pain, right? Like that they're not taking 100% from what it's actually going to cost them with the current microeconomic effects. But there is still so significant a pain that has been passed on to consumers. I don't think they're doing enough. That's the God's honest truth. I don't know that anybody is. And I feel for everyone that wants to get into this hobby and says, nope, that's a absolute non-starter. I get it. But yeah, I think they're screwing up here. I did a video a couple of years ago, well before any of the current micro or macroeconomic effects, about Disney screwing up with the pricing that they were doing for Walt Disney World. And the basic premise of this was that the way you make a lifetime Disney fan is that you make sure that the family unit can bring their kids to the Disney Worlds of the world, right? So they were pricing out everything because their bean counters behind the scenes said, well, there's this entire European contingent that's willing to pay 4 times as much. What are we doing here? And so they took it up to as far as they could on that numbering spectrum. And I said, look, this is where you get these kind of myopic boards making these decisions and not looking at even the midterm tail of making money, let alone the long term, and squeezing all of the juice out right now, killing the rest of your business. And now we sit in 2025 with a Disney that is awash in red ink because they have killed all of the family love for that brand. And I say that as somebody that went to Disney World when he was a kid, really enjoyed those trips, and definitely am priced out of anything like that now in 2025. That is what I view as a very apt analogy for what is likely to happen if we continue down this road with gatekeeping for video games. And I love games, and I have all the consoles, and I introduce my kids to them, and they have a certain amount of love for them themselves. But we're going to move only to free-to-play, 99-cent mobile titles, and nothing else in between if our console platform holder betters don't figure out which end they're supposed to wipe with the toilet paper.
Yeah, and you know, there's some commentary in here too. I think at least for a long time now, you know, consoles, to your earlier point, Hogue, have been seen as the entry point, you know, and if you really want to play whatever, you know, highest performance in today, you build a higher PC and you spend the extra money to do that. But you're at a point now, and PC has been impacted to various degrees with its hardware and other things too. So let's be clear. Yeah, it's not just consoles, right? It's all hardware, and all consoles are PCs in a box anyway.
It's silicon.
But yeah, exactly. But my point being is, like, when you start talking about 7, 8, or 800 or more in consoles, I think that the growing PC market, because of performance, streaming, other factors, I think it just expands that conversation even further to say, why would I spend $800 on a closed platform when I can go spend $1,200 to at least get my foot in the door in a PC space? Yeah, foot in the door, you can. Yeah, $1,200-$1,500 on a PC space.
I'll be honest, I just got done building a mid-tier PC for D, and it was like $2,500.
I was gonna say
I said foot in the door again.
My number
foot in the door, like a laptop that can't run anything.
No,
my number not so long ago was 1,000.
Yesterday. Like,
my number not so long ago was 1,000, and now it's 3,000. Like, that's just the truth.
Yeah, I mean, to Travis's point, if you want something that's going to run the majority of games in a high degree today, yeah, you're over 2,000 without a doubt. But again, it's not like an $800 console in today. Again, we're talking about 5-year-old consoles. I'm not talking about the new ones, right? But it's not on the same level playing field there. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird time, I guess. And I think for people like Hogue and I, being the old men on the show here, compared to our two youngsters, it's weird because, we come from an era where console has always been the entry point in that space. And for a long period of time, it was your $199 consoles, even though, obviously inflation and everything, that's a different conversation. But it just feels like that's changing pretty quickly.
Gone are the days of the $99 PS2.
Yeah.
In 2008. So.
Anyway, we'll see what happens. Obviously, Nintendo, you're crazy for $50 amiibos. I had to call that out because when I saw that, I kind of did a double take. I don't know what you're thinking, but
you're no true Kirby fan, Ains.
Yeah, I absolutely am not. You are correct. Yeah.
I agree with you, by the way. It's crazy to me, specifically for the internally facing amiibos. Like, I have at least an understanding of when you make the Street Fighter amiibos, there's an extra cut being taken out there. So I get how they get to $40. Doesn't mean I like it, but I get that. When it's a Kirby on a star, I understand that he can move to a different star, Nintendo, but it's not $50 worth.
Disagree. Your children don't deserve to play with Kirby.
Travis, I hope that we can't see just under camera that you are currently bathing in just a pile of money.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'll forever be grateful I bought my Series X for $350 in December 2023. It's wild that same console is $650 now.
Yeah. So. Yeah, the 2 terabyte Galaxy version, which is like their top end Series X, right? $800 now in the US. Which is
what will the price of the Rogue Ally be? It's like out in a month, right? And
they haven't given us a price for the Rogue Ally.
Well, the price did leak from Best Buy. It's $549 and $900.
Yeah. Well, okay, so that's not a given
sounds
price,
about right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, unless it changes, to your point, Hogue, which like anything else, it could, but we'll see. Yeah.
No, I mean, I just for the record, if they don't tell you the price and they're trying to launch a major piece of consumer-facing hardware within a month, it means they don't like the price they're going to have to tell you.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably true. Travis will like it, though. He's ready.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. Travis loves a big number. He likes to see the numbers go out of his bank account even faster than they already do. He loves it.
They're not out of my bank account. That's Papa IGN right there. Thank you, sire.
A couple comments to get to here. Throwing these your way, Travis.
Rick Davis has been a member for 27 months, and he writes, just want to say Alex equals GOAT guest. He does not mean GOAT to be an acronym. Alex has been known for eating any detritus he finds around, so he means a literal goat. Also, he has cloven hooves. So
as his hand is on the screen.
Yeah.
Rick, thank you. Mr. Don Lionheart's here with the super chat.
Don Lionheart, $5 super chat. Good day, all. F the situation in the U.S. causing my Trails Steelbook delay. I presume he means the situation from Jersey Shore. Angry emoji, crying emoji. It looks so good. Also, Demon Slayer was great, but unfinished.
Yeah, so I can talk about a couple of these things. One, if you are ever looking for a physical copy of a game, I do have to say, take a beat and think about whether or not you want to order something from Limited Run Games. Mm-hmm. I don't know anybody there. I don't know how it is that their production line works, how their logistics works, except that it doesn't appear to, right?
It doesn't. So I can confirm.
If you are ordering something from Limited Run Games, I feel for Don. I could have bet that this is what would happen with something as popular as the Trails series. So if you haven't seen, Limited Run Games, basically on the day that they were supposed to start shipping / delivering the copies of these games to people, release date, said, oh, our bad, they'll come later, essentially. And that didn't surprise me, but it sucks if you're in the Don Leinart situation here where you've ordered this thing and you're excited about it. So unfortunately, the physical makers of games in the video game industry, like Limited Run Games, tend to not be the most reliable when you order these kinds of things. As for Demon Slayer, this was the first I had heard about it, but I did know that it was supposed to be a series of movies, right? So I have no doubt that it's unfinished after the first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think we talked about it on the show already.
We did last week.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, on Limited Run Games, I've dealt with them a few times, obviously being the stuff I buy. I don't buy from them anymore. It is insane how late they can deliver things that they were supposed to deliver. There was one, I
so you're
can't
saying
remember
that
what
it's limited?
Dude, it was nearly, this is not a joke, by the way, nearly 2 years after I placed the order that I got the game. And I'm like, are you guys serious? Like, are you functional business? That makes no sense to me. It's bizarre.
I feel LRG is like a slow psyop to make people like want to get rid of physical games by being like, oh yeah, everything you get is like delayed, where you can immediately play this in digital. Like it always happens. They literally email people the day of the release of Trails in the Sky that it was going to be delayed. Not even a day or two before, the day off. So
yeah, it was like 1 year and 9 months or something. And Mo, who has been on the show, I think people know him in the community. Him and I both buy a bunch of this stuff, and like we're both like, yeah, never buying from them again. It's just a waste of time. So, I want to check in with you boys real quick. Obviously, we're getting ready to close out here, but as you sit here today, we're mid-September. We've got obviously some big games still to release, but we've had a ridiculous year of gaming now, and I probably going to regret bringing this up with Alex on the show because I already know what he's going to say, and I know what we're going to get, but I love him anyway. Where you guys sit in your 2025 game of the year right now? What's your favorite game that you have played so far?
E33.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Death Stranding 2. I really did.
That's my second.
Okay. All right. You're an Expedition guy just like Hogue then. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm going to fight Expedition 33 to the bitter end. I think it's likely to win, but I'm going to fight it all the way.
Yeah. I feel like
honestly,
right now the
best game I played this year was Tears of the Kingdom. I know that's the wrong year, but that was the best game I played this year, to be honest.
Hey, who knows? The nomination schedule is so weird for the Keeleys.
That's true.
If you want to make that one the winner, we'll make it work. We'll figure it out.
That's true. I have.
You played Switch 2 edition? Now. That one came out this year.
Boom.
That's what he's talking about, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I played it, because
that came out this year. Sure, it's the same game, and it just says Switch 2 edition on the bottom. Yeah. I think we can swing it with Jeff.
Let's do it. Let's get it going.
So you're an Expedition guy, Alex. All right. You're because I know you love the hell out of that game. And I know that you're on that camp of just really liking what it did.
And how it happens, obviously I reviewed it, but then kind of like other games came out. I was like, I think I like this better and all that. I got to replay it with my sister.
Okay.
And that experience, like seeing like how it impacted her too, kind of like made me reappreciate a lot of that game. That I was like, I think this is the one. And right now it feels like the runner-up alongside Silksong. I'm not saying that because I finished Silksong. I only played like 2 hours, but it feels like that's where the conversation's going of what's kind of like the front runners so far. So
for the Keeleys, yeah. And we always call out, as Hogue does, is like, generally speaking, for right or for wrong, we're usually talking about the Keeleys here. But for you guys specifically, where are you at, Hogue? What's your favorite game you've played this year?
Well, I'll fill in for Alex and his abandonment of the position here. Death Stranding 2 is my favorite game of the year. I think there is nothing even close to the level of artistry multiplied by gameplay that Death Stranding 2 brings to the table. I think that Kojima is often the topic of conversation because his stuff is so kind of into itself. But Death Stranding 2 is kind of the culmination of his career so far, in my estimation. He's learned a lot from everything that he's done, and this is the most approachable he's ever been, with the best kind of stealth action on top of all that, straight out of Metal Gear Solid 5. So you combine those things, and it's just my favorite experience of the year. I would say it's easily that, except that we've had such a strong year that I think there's a lot of things that could be argued for that spot, including, as much as it chagrins me, Expedition 33. I think that might be the most overrated game in a long, long time in the gaming industry. But Death Stranding 2 is my winner. I think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is probably my runner-up, but I do want to reserve a slot for Trails in the Sky. First chapter might well wind up taking this thing as my favorite experience. I know it's a remake. I know it's ineligible on certain grounds to a lot of people for that reason, but it's a lot closer to the Final Fantasy VII remake side of the scale than like Final Fantasy Tactics Remastered or whatever is coming out in a week, which I'm also really excited about, but which doesn't at all look like anything that's a redesign of that video game. So without getting into the remake remaster fight, that's one that right now I'm not far enough along to give it that award, but I could easily see, I know the Trails in the Sky story, I could easily see this all coming together and being my favorite experience of the year. Right now it's Death Stranding 2.
Okay. Lame.
What do you got, Travis?
I am probably granted, I have not played more of Expedition 33 since the last time we talked, so I'm still way behind the curve.
It's just not that long.
I know, but I'm back-to-back reviews. I literally have no opportunity to do this. And the one time I did have an opportunity, I played Monster Train 2. Damn it. So yeah, I'll get a gap here at some point. But probably the best games I played that actually came out this year were Kazan. I really like that game. I think it's
really
kind of
good
underrated.
game.
It's really good, and I think I'm the only one here who actually played the whole thing, and it just is good all the way through. It's a really good, great game. And then Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is probably right now in the lead, but granted, I have not finished Death Stranding 2. I'm probably like halfway through that, and I also haven't finished Expedition 33. I'm probably like a fifth of the way through that. So yeah, I just need to play more of.
I'd like to query where you are in Death Stranding 2 to think that you're halfway, but I don't want to live.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I'm not going to.
I would say the ending of Death Stranding 2 is incredible. That's all I'll say.
Mexico has been thoroughly discovered.
There you go.
Ooh,
no, he's joking, Alex. He knows that Mexico being thoroughly discovered is not halfway.
I know.
Right. I've bounced around a bit. I really liked Expedition. It's just not, I've said before, I sit between the Alexes and the Hogues of the world on Expedition. I really liked it, but I still think in terms of the best game, if I'm being critical, the best game I've seen and what it does this year is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
I don't blame you for that at all.
Yeah.
Oh, also Split Fiction. That game's good too.
Well, yeah, thank you. Can I keep talking now? Appreciate you.
Snap.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Catty bitch. I just think that game does a lot of things that no other games do very well, and it accomplishes some really grand things, which I've said before. So that game sits up there. I will say, sitting here today, probably my favorite game, or maybe not favorite, but the one that I know I'm just having the most fun with is Borderlands 4.
Borderlands 4 is so good. I wish it didn't
really
have
good.
the technical discussion happening around it right now.
Agree. It's detracting from how good that game is.
I know. I super chatted last week of like, I'm not feeling. I got to the desert and I'm starting to feel it, just to kind of give you an idea where I am.
It's so good.
Well, okay. Which order are you doing it in?
You can do any order. There's no order.
Yeah, basically I changed biome. Like I finally got to the desert. I'm like, okay, cool. Basically,
which number biome is it for you?
It's the
second. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
We did it the opposite way when we played Ames.
Yeah, I know. I actually like Terminus Range.
Yeah.
I think Terminus Range, which is the one you haven't been to, Alex, I really like a lot. But anyway, that game, all jokes aside, even since the review, Travis, I have almost played nothing else. That game owns me right now.
That
It's
is the game
so
that I
good.
keep wanting to play while I'm reviewing other games. I'm like, damn, I wish I could have gone, because I didn't get to go all the way. I didn't get to the highest
Right.
ultimate
Mhm.
Vault
Yeah.
Hunter tier. I want to get to tier 5 and just like grind that shit, but I
It's
just
so
don't.
good,
I
yeah.
don't have that kind of time, man. Fortunately,
so
I know,
fun.
no, I get it. I get it. If I was stuck on reviews, I'd be the same way. But I think, you know,
also
I think
it sounds like it's worse than when we played it, Ains.
I'm
don't
not
know
having
if
any
it's-
issues.
I don't know if it's just
Okay.
thousands of people playing it at the same time, right? Like I don't play it in these huge like long day stretches, which seems to be the biggest issue for a lot of people.
Memory leak.
And yeah, it might be a memory leak. They're denying that it's a memory leak. The there's fights going on as to whether or not there's a memory leak, but it does seem to have some kind of technical issue that is more apparent to people that play it in a different manner than I do. I am not having a lot of trouble with it at all, but I'm only playing it in a couple hour chunks.
It has the similar problem that the Oblivion remaster has. If you play like for long periods of time where the performance just keeps degrading and degrading until you like restart it, you can find videos of a fresh boot and afterwards. So it's clearly a UE5 problem with like an open world. So
It seems like it.
Which is weird because again, I'm not having any issues. I am on PC. Obviously,
Mhm.
PC configurations, as we joke, there's thousands of them, so who knows? But
specifically console UE5, like that
Yeah.
seems to be becoming more common with open worlds there. So
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Epic's
I've
going to
seen,
have to solve that.
mhm.
I've seen the console version go down to 1 FPS.
Yeah.
It's wild, dude.
That's cool. Borderlands movie, right?
It's
Have
a
you
little,
watched that
little
yet, by the way?
slideshow. Yeah.
That would be
No,
an
you're
improved
supposed to
Borderlands
watch it,
movie.
bro.
Mhm.
Ains,
but yeah,
Ains watched the Borderlands movie recently and
yeah,
really liked
I'm
it.
up to
so
9 times now. Yeah.
Mhm.
Nice, cool.
Yeah, but it's fantastic fun, and but anyway, I think you guys mentioned a few of them. There's other players out there. There's Silk Song, there's Split
Mhm.
Fiction, there's Blueprints. There's a lot of these smaller games that have had a big impact on the industry this year too. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how.
I feel you
everything
could
plays
make
out.
an entire like list of game of the year like candidates as AA or indies this year. They have really
Yeah,
stepped
it's
up
been a
this
great
year.
time. Great
So,
time. So that's
yeah.
a good segue, actually, because we're going to get ready to wrap up here. Is the 6-1 Indie Showcase was this week. Shout out to my friends over there, Mike and Kyle, for their fantastic work for 6-1 Indie. If you are a fan of those smaller games, they had another showcase this week, 40 games, a bunch of unique experiences. One of the games they also shouted out on there was Crizzle, Alex, which, we had a great time with at Summer Game
Mhm.
Fest. So definitely check that out and give them some support. They're working their asses off over there at 6-1 Indie, and they're doing a fantastic job. So shout out to those guys. I just wanted to make sure to mention that.
Nice.
Otherwise, this week we get Silent Hill F, boys. So buckle up because we'll see what a new Silent Hill looks like from Konami this week. Finally, it's a long time coming. A lot of people hype for this one, and we'll see how it performs. I'm hopeful.
Mhm.
So
There's a lot of Konami this year. The
Mhm.
real big comeback for them, at least in my backlog.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the
I'm probably
Pachinkos-
not going to check this one out.
oh, really?
Yeah, I think I talked about this. Maybe maybe it wasn't here. I talk in way too many places. But I
Agreed.
I don't love the haunted rural Japanese village aesthetic. The siren kind of looking game is just
Yeah.
not my favorite. So
Okay.
Silent Hill F takes what I like about Silent Hill and puts it in a genre that is not what I like. So we'll see. I might check it out.
Exciting.
If I'm going to go with a game that reminds me of Bloober Team, it's probably going to be Chronos instead of Silent Hill F.
I'll talk about both next week. Chronos, I'm finally going to get to this week.
Nice.
Silent Hill as well. So we'll see how that shakes out. So cool. Well, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping up here. Quick shout out on the SG side of the house. As we said, you can check out Alex's review of Towa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree. I swear to God, that's the last time I'm saying that title. That's up on the site right now. You can check it out. And of course, like I said, next week we'll be talking about some other things as well. We got some other things in the works we cannot mention, which I'm glad we checked ahead of time. Alex, thank you for hanging out with us, man. Always good to chat with you.
Yeah.
Go ahead and shout out where people can find you.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. You can find me at _Segovia on Twitter, Segovia on Blue Sky, and I've been trying to get into streaming habit over at my Twitch at The Slayer Giant, and you can find my written content over at seasongaming.com, where over the last month I reviewed Metal Gear Solid Delta, Hot Shots Golf, This game that I'm not gonna say the long name again because we've said it already many times, and another game that we can talk about.
Yeah. And
Yes.
excuse me, that's Everybody's Golf, Hot Shots. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for it. I'm an old school Hot Shots guy. So
Yeah.
It's the Hot Shots game.
Mhm.
Yeah, we all know it. Just like we could get away with calling it Towa. But yeah.
Yeah, fair. Hogue, shout us out, man.
Yeah, so this week was actually a big week for me. I mentioned last week that I was thinking about doing some kind of conversation around some of the big events in the United States over the last couple of weeks. I had also been thinking about launching a new show type, a new format, and I'd been thinking about that for more than a year. And I actually did it this week. I launched a new show called Reasonable Minds Can Differ that, unlike Virtual Legality, which is just about explaining law and business, and Hangouts and Headlines, which is about critically reading journalistic takes on news stories of the day, this one is taking things from the news and having conversations about what those news items could mean, with the understanding that what I'm about to say in any of those videos is something that has arguments against it, and welcoming in that reasonable difference within the video itself, and also making clear that any given clip from that video is absolutely free to respond to online for anybody, so that we can have reasonable minds can differ kind of conversations across the wide spectrum of views and values in both the United States and around the world. So Reasonable Minds Can Differ, now a show on my channel, launched this past week. The first episode was about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And if you're interested in that topic and also the things that I wanted to say about it, please do check out that video. I think it's important to show for the world and the internet that we can have these conversations without just resulting in calling each other monsters. And that's what I'm really all about. I feel that in my soul, and that's why the show now exists. So that's my wares. Big deal for me. I haven't launched a new show since 2022. And I'm really, really excited about it and the future for that format on my channel.
Awesome, Hogue. Congrats. And thank you as well for reminding me about wares, which I always seem to forget. So, Travis, show me your wares.
Hello. My wares are I also started a new show. It's called Reasonable Minds Cannot Differ, and it's just about me. I'm just calling people names and threatening physical violence.
Travis just starts a channel, and all his shows are the direct opposite of Hogue's.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like
versus.
Honestly, it would be, if I had unlimited time, it would be so good to do an anti-Hogue character and just make that my whole personality. I actually have been thinking
like
of,
the old Colbert.
Yeah, I have actually been thinking of doing a YouTube show called Skill Issue with Ty Guy Travis, wherein I just talk about, like, I get people's grievances and I just disregard them.
Get good, son.
Yeah, exactly. And it would be great because Skill Issue, I could have like in today's issue, you know what I mean, like an old school magazine. Anyway, I've thought about this a lot.
There you go. Well, when you make a video replying to an RMCD episode and it's just Travis in the corner going, "Nope, loser, bro."
Yeah, no,
just
dude, get good.
Such a loser.
Get good at political violence. No, my wares are that I've got my review of Dying Light the Beast out. I think there's another game I reviewed last week that is also new on IGN.com. You can also find yeah, well, that one's old, but you can see my preview of Battlefield 6, which I know we didn't talk about today, but I did play Battlefield 6 and the new map, Murik Valley. I also played the returning map for Battlefield 3, Operation Firestorm, which was a lot of fun. So you can watch my preview of that. Also, Ains, if you ever wanted to know if I'm good at shooters, you should watch my footage in that preview because I was on a tear. I was a beast.
I'm more concerned why we didn't discuss this earlier instead of quietly.
To be honest, I forgot. And also I was looking at the time and I was like, I don't think we have time to also talk about Battlefield today. So
all right, well, we're gonna talk about it next week because I am crazy pumped.
Happy to talk about it next week. I played a ton of it and you should watch my preview because
I'm
very excited about that game. And then I'm also this week reviewing Baby Steps, which comes out very soon. And I'm sure my review will not be there in time because we just got a code very recently. But I will have a ton to say about that game next week.
Okay. All right. That's going to be fun because that game looks ridiculous.
I can't talk about it, but I will have a lot to say about it.
I'm excited it's
Okay.
finally out, so we don't have to see it in another state of play.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, audience, thank you as always for hanging out with us. Appreciate you all. Hope you have a great week in gaming. Go playing all the amazing games out there. Until then, we will see you next Sunday. Cheers.